So there was this like little jamboree that I went to not long ago, and had all these van lifers and camper vans and even some bigger RVs that were there. And it's a pretty cool environment, man. Everybody kind of sits around and talks, almost like an episode of Little House on the Prairie or something like that. And because you really kind of get unplugged from society, and that's the part that I really think that I enjoy most. Because man, when you turn the TV on or go online right now, it's like the same thing over and over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day. It's just too much. And so I noticed the people who been out here for a while, they don't really get caught up in any of that stuff. That's really nice. And so anyway, so I was going around talking to different people. Everyone is so friendly, and I mean they're friendly like kids were back in kindergarten. You know what I mean? I mean, if you take a toy that they want to play with, that's the only time you really see any aggression that's out there. But other than that, everyone seems to kind of like be really just cool and friendly, and they're really helpful with anything, any knowledge that they have, whatever. And so one thing that I was sitting there talking to these two older gentlemen. Was about temperature changes that occur in a van, and or when you're sleeping in vehicles like that. And they're explaining that you can go to bed at night and be 65 degrees inside your camper, and you can wake up in the morning and it could be 103 degrees, and you're sleeping when that change is taking place. And so you get sweaty and there's all this stuff. So they had some trade that they wanted to share, and one of the items they told me to get, I'll show you the packaging in a second, and the packaging says the packaging says it all. And but so anyway, so they're there and they're telling me all these tricks of the trade, and if you're going to use a public bathroom, what to do to make sure that when you use the bathroom that you make sure that you kind of flush everything out of your system, because sometimes you can use the bathroom and then maybe a couple hours later you have to go again because you really feel like you didn't kind of flush anything out. And so they told me, some things to do, in that case, they asked me if I had a bathroom or toilet in my van. And I said, yeah. I said, I have one. I have a fairly good one. I said, but honestly, I hope that I never, ever have to use it. And of course, in emergency, you will have to use it. So I don't want to use it. It's just something about doing that. Maybe if I could take it outside, that I can, I guess. And use it, that wouldn't be so bad. But I really don't want to use it, not even once. So I hope that, and I'm changing my complete eating habits for that reason. I've been kind of testing some things and to make sure what I put in my system goes in, how long it stays, and when I can get it out. And so they gave me tips. And so they were two guys, they're older guys, it's older than me, sitting, gray hair and stuff. So they've been out here for a while. And I look over to the right, and there's actually two women that I'm guessing is their wives. And the women really look similar to each other. And so I'm guessing that they're sisters. And of course, these men are still telling their story, right? So now I'm looking over and I'm focused at these women. One has like blue hair, and she has the hairstyle, if you guys remember from the show, 1970s show Alice, and you had the waitress Flo that had that, kind of country style hairdo, I guess, I don't know. Remember she used to tell everybody to kiss her grits? That's how the women's hair basically was. One had blue hair and the other one had pink hair. So I don't know if it's something that they wear all the time or something special. So they're over there, smoking cigarettes or whatever. And then one of the guys, I noticed that I was staring over there, I guess staring for too long. And he goes, he's like, oh yeah, they're our wives. And he's like, yeah, they're not allowed to smoke in RVs, so so whenever they're out, they smoke a lot. And maybe he was answering a question that he may thought was on my mind when I was staring over there at them, smoking or whatever. But that's not why I was actually staring at them. Well, actually, that was part of it. Really, when I could hear their voices were real gravelly, right? Because they probably been smoking since they were like 8 years old or something. And with the color of their hair and just the way they looked and everything, I realized that if that was their wives, those guys have basically married Patty and Selma from The Simpsons. That is Marge Simpson's sisters that are twins that have never been married, and they work for the DMV and they have like the worst personalities, like a lot of people that work at the DMV, the motor vehicles. And so it was right about that time that I realized, I'm looking around, I was like, man, those are like human Patty and Selma from The Simpsons. And then this guy says this, right, that all of a sudden, in the pit of my stomach, I feel a little giggle start. And for me, that's always the worst. And I'm thinking, whenever I feel that little giggle, that means it is going to grow, and it's going to grow, and it's going to grow so large, and eventually it's going to come out of my mouth, and I'm going to start laughing. But I know by the time it comes out of my mouth, it ain't going to be no giggle. And so now I'm trying to prevent it from happening, right? Because if I do it now, this guy or them, both men, are probably going to think that I'm laughing at their wives, even though I'm laughing at the thought of how they look. And so all of a sudden, here it comes. I'm thinking, for God's sake, anything happen. I hope a car goes by, something that's going to break, because at this point, the one guy's still talking, the other guy notices me, says what he says to me. Now I got this huge giggle that's coming. It is like past my belly button. It's like in the center of my chest. It's almost to my neck, and I'm thinking I'm just going to blurt out just total laughter at this, and I'm just not going to be able to stop it. And so it came. And it was a laugh, but I tried to pretend like I was sneezing. And so now, instead of the laugh coming out of my mouth, it went up, came out of my nose, snorted, and I started choking. And so they're like, man, you need some water, you okay? So the bottom line is, I got through that. I guess he didn't realize that, he thought that I was choking or something like that, and they offered me water. And I was like hiccuping almost at this point. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. So anyway, so you really meet like just interesting, the most helpful people that's in America. That's weird because no one really helps anybody anymore. No one is really friendly openly. And this is like a whole like secret society where they just don't care. They're just like, hey man, they offer you anything they can to offer to work on, something that you have. It's incredible. So again, that's what I think being unplugged in America means. I just think too many people that don't have a choice anymore. I mean, as soon as you turn on your phone, you're just bombarded with some of the most negative information that's out there in the world every day. You literally, if you have a phone or TV, you can't get away from it. And I just think that those people who have lived this lifestyle for years are closer to nature than they are to all the horrible stuff that's going on in our society. And I guess they're able to maintain a more neutral balance in life in general. And as soon as you come away from that and you go anywhere, you just don't see that. I mean, you can just walk into any store. One person may say hi, but then you pass 20 other people who don't say hi. Where it seems like that lifestyle is the opposite from that. Men, women, people of color, it doesn't matter. Everyone's really, really just friendly. You're more inclined to pass 20 people and 19 of them say hi and one doesn't. So it's really, it's like the mirror image of what society is and maybe what it could be or what it used to be. And I can see why a lot of people, enjoy that lifestyle once they get out there. And of course, some people, I've seen that talk about, leaving it for, one or another reason because, they're lonely or whatever. And that's weird to me because, one, I've never been lonely ever in my life. I don't even know what loneliness means. I don't know if that's a natural thing not to feel lonely. I mean, I don't know. I've just never felt it. I've heard people talk about it. I'm thinking, I enjoy being by myself, so I've never felt lonely. But when I hear those stories, I'm thinking, man, there's tons of people who are living in houses and apartments or whatever that are extremely lonely. So I don't understand how, if someone says, well, I was lonely out there, so I came off the road, unless they mean they spend more time with their family or something. I don't know. But so anyway, so back to this tip. Now I'm getting ready to show you what they recommended to help with those temperature changes and what occurs in the van. So, but before I show you this, I'll tell you this, because I've already tried it. I'm not saying that I discovered a fountain of youth. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is pretty damn close. And here's the product. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.
Spending my day thinking about you, girl. Being here with you, being near with you, can't explain myself. I feel like I do, though it hurt me so to let you know. When I look in your eyes, you let me know how you feel. Let me know that love is